The magic bean machine only works if a new couple is having sex.
Right.
And so they have to trade off.
People often ask authors where they get their ideas from, Django. Welcome to Between Two Perns. My name is Jackson Dickert, and I'm here with best-selling author Django Wexler. How's it going, Django?
Pretty good.
Django, what are you hiding?
What am I hiding?
What are you hiding?
Like right now, or just like in general in life?
In general in life, but are you hiding something on you right now?
No.
Okay, well, what are you hiding in general in life?
I don't know if people know this, but I'm kind of a huge nerd. I'm not super open about it, but I like nerdy things.
Yeah, I kind of caught on to that. So,
What?
yeah,
My hiding is not effective.
this has by far been one of the hardest interviews that I've prepared for.
What?
You write solid books. You don't do anything problematic. You're nice to strangers on Reddit.
I admit to some saintly behavior there.
You're almost universally praised for your ability to write women and especially LGBT relationships well.
Okay.
The worst thing about you is that your parents plagiarized your name from the galaxy's most fearsome bounty hunter, but that's not even your fault, and it's such a cool name that I can't even be upset about it.
See, it's backwards though, because George stole that from us. Attack of the Clones didn't come out until I was like 20.
Well, now you're showing your age a little bit here.
I am. You know how there's Commander Cody in those books?
Yeah.
That's my brother's name. George was hiding in the bushes outside our house.
You were stalked by George Lucas? That's the claim that you're making?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now we're getting to the hard-hitting news. Even going through your website, the most out there thing that I could find was you staging and executing an entire battle with painted miniatures that use your books as terrain. And I wanted to make fun of it. I really did. But I can't bring myself to do it. It's too wholesome.
What could you possibly make fun of?
Nothing. It's too wholesome.
It's wholesome.
It's precious. And I hate that about you. And so what's frustrating for me is how normal of a guy that you are. You're just a guy. You're a nerd. You could literally be somebody that I went to high school with and we would have been best friends.
That's fair, and thank you. That's quite the compliment. I feel like the world has caught up with me though. Like I've always been like this, but it wasn't, when I was in high school, it was not cool. So
Yeah.
I'm old now. It's terrible.
It'll go through another cycle again. We'll get to start bullying
Really, the
nerds.
jocks are mustering their forces. They're going to take over again. I think
Word has spread.
I think it's probably true.
Yeah, I think so too. I had to go deeper.
Oh no, the dark web.
Do you remember that part in the Two Towers where Merry, Pippin, and Treebeard, they decide to go past Isengard with the logic?
The closer we are to danger, the farther we are from harm.
Remember that part? Come on, you remember that part.
I don't know.
Are you kidding me right now?
I don't.
You have 400 pages about the prequels, but you don't remember the specific line?
Was it in the movie? I don't remember
Yes,
that.
it was from the movie.
All right, so if you really want to know, my dark secret is I got bored in the Two Towers when I was 14 and didn't finish it. I got bored in the Two Towers when I was 14 and didn't finish it, and I haven't gone back since. It's on my list.
You haven't finished, I assume you haven't finished The Return of the King either?
No, not in paper.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that online either because
Yeah, well,
this is why the jocks are coming back. Maybe the jocks have a point. You should be bullied for
the
that.
jocks are coming back
Look at me. Look at me.
to defend Lord of the Rings?
You're a bad nerd.
Oh no.
Yeah. That part happened, okay?
Okay, I believe you.
And you've been employing that strategy on a daily basis. On your website, it says that you worked as a software engineer before becoming a full-time author.
That's true.
You worked on AI research.
That's also true.
You are the enemy hiding right here in our midst. You are high blood pressure personified, the silent killer. You're a traitor.
That's not true.
It is true. Objectively.
My doctor tells me I have wonderful blood pressure. It's like the one thing I'm good at.
Okay, well.
But
so you're just normal. You're telling me even your blood pressure is normal?
No, my blood pressure is better than normal. But let me tell you about AI research, right? We were doing AI research. This was in 2003. And we were trying to develop this thing that in retrospect is basically Siri, is supposed to like plan conferences and like respond to your email and stuff. But man, the technology was not there at the time. And so nothing we did ever came close to working. Like I used to refer to my job as a professional waste of taxpayer dollars. So like if anything, we set the science of AI back for like 5 years. So you can say that I may have saved us from 5 years of AI.
Because of your skill issue?
Because of my procrastination and playing war games during work time.
Do you think that's something that they can retroactively sue you for?
Probably not.
So I guess it's just convenient that since then you magically have become a prolific bestseller and author with dozens of works.
I mean, convenient is one word for it. It took a lot of effort. It didn't just happen. I had to work very hard to write all those words.
Sounds exactly like something an AI would say.
That's possible. Yeah, I guess maybe I developed the AI while I was there and I like swiped it and that's why the project collapsed. And I took it home with me and we've been writing books together ever since.
Django, is this a confession?
No.
You've published more than 24 novels.
That's true.
Many of them bestsellers. Kind of. But I don't care to talk about the bestsellers today.
Okay.
I think they've probably been talked to death. The content has been wrung from them already, right? No, we have to go deeper. I'm interested in a short story you published called Magic Beans in an erotic coffee anthology called Coffee Hot. Django, I have so many questions.
My friend Janine Southard came to me and she was like, I'm writing an erotica anthology of stories set in coffee shops.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, I've never written erotica and I don't drink coffee. And she's like, I don't care, just write the story.
Yeah, Magic Beans is all about a group of friends in a coffee shop. A couple has sex in the closet while the magic beans are brewing, which causes them to get teleported to another world. But there's 5 cans of magic beans, so the friends have to continue having sex with each other in order to get back home to Earth by having sex in different combinations.
Yeah, because the magic bean machine only works if a new couple is having sex.
Right.
And so they have to trade off.
People often ask authors where they get their ideas from, Django.
Uh-huh. I forget where that one came from.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Well, I remember I was at a writing retreat and I just started doing this coffee shop thing because Janine had asked me to. And it was supposed to be like a 1,000-word story and it ended up being like 16,000 words or something.
Yeah, it was very long.
It was very long. And I only got paid like $50. So it was, in a financial sense, a terrible decision. But I thought it was funny, so I did it anyway.
Are your erotica days over or are they just beginning?
They might just be beginning. An idea really has to strike me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sexy talk in Dark Lord, although not a lot of actual sex. Mostly people talking about sex, just like real life.
There's still time. There's still time to...
No, there isn't. It's already printed.
Okay.
I could put it in the sequel.
Sequel confirmed.
That's not really a scoop, but...
We got the scoop. In 2006, you released a book called Shinigami through...
I did. That was in my weeaboo phase, which continues to this day.
Shinigami has a 3.81 rating on Goodreads. And it was published through Medallion Press.
Correct. Who I think no longer exists.
They filed for bankruptcy, Django.
I bet they did.
Are you ashamed of the role that you played in their bankruptcy? And do you think the publisher might have made it if you had written a better book?
I mean, it's possible. They did f up my first book, Memories of Empire, pretty badly. Like, they left out a bunch of section breaks so that, like, somebody's dialogue would just, like, run into the next section, and it would be incredibly confusing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that happened. But it's possible that they shouldn't have taken me on at all at that stage. On the other hand, they didn't pay very well, so...
So they got what they deserved?
No, I probably just wasn't that big of a contributor because they didn't have to pay me very much.
Wouldn't you kind of just call it a wash at that point? Because you clearly didn't make them very much money either.
Every once in a while, someone comes to me and they're like, I really love those books. And I'm like, how did you find them? It's been a long time. Or they're like, I want you to bring that back into print. And I'm like, no.
In all the research I've done, I think that Ship of Smoke and Steel is actually your most problematic work.
Maybe. There's a lot of problematic stuff.
There's a long history of fantasy authors creating new curse words to avoid using real ones in their manuscripts. And in this series, you use the word rot as a curse word, which isn't great, but it's passable, I think. I don't mind it. That's not the one that bothers me. The one that bothers me is in this series, you use the word rut in place of the F word or in place of to have sex with.
That's true.
And honestly, I think I speak for all readers when I say that it is far more uncomfortable to read about two characters talk about rutting with each other than it would be to just read the F word. So in attempting to avoid a nasty word, you have created something far more filthy.
Well, that's really the goal, though, because they're like, well, you can't use the F word because it's one of those magic words. And I'm like, great, I'll just make it even filthier. That's like literally why I did it.
I think this is the one time that I can definitively say that a fantasy author has created a new curse word that's worse than the one that they're replacing. So congratulations.
Thank you.
This is your legacy.
I accept that with pride.
Yeah.
The problem with curses, like our curses come in three basic varieties, right? You've got your scatological, your sexual, and your religious. And like scatological and sexual don't change that much between like cultures. Like every culture has bad words for those things. But like you can't have your fantasy characters going around being like, Jesus Christ. I mean, you could, but people would ask questions. And so you got to come up with something new.
You don't want the people to ask questions?
No.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
My biggest problem with this book, though, is how unrealistic it is. There's ghost ships, giant crabs, the spectrum of a magic system, but the most ridiculous part is the protagonist's relationship with her sister. The main character, Ahsoka, which sounds a lot like Ahsoka, just saying.
It's actually pronounced Isuka, but that's fine.
Sure it is. The main character has to work for criminals to kill people so that her younger sister, Tori, lives a nice life of luxury in a nice part of town. And for me, an older sibling who relates more to Ferris Bueller's older sister than to Ferris Bueller, what I really wanted to see was Ahsoka do something for herself and leave Tori to face the harsh realities of life and have to work for something for once. And for that reason, I'm giving the book a 1 star.
Well, you may want to read the sequels because it turns out that Tori is like secretly has mind control powers and is fomenting rebellion in the city. And then she starts a rebellion and thousands of people die and the streets run red with blood.
Why did you not lead with that in book 1?
I hadn't thought of it by that point. It only came to me around book 2.
Thank you for your honesty. Do you think they should add emojis to books?
Yes. In fact, I think I put some in Dark Lord. I don't know if they make it into the print edition, though.
God, I hope so.
There's a part where it says, the more you know, and I put the little shooting star emojis.
Did you really? I love that.
Yeah. But the real question is, like, if books can support arbitrary Unicode, like, can I just put, like, diacritic marks, like, all over the place in my book?
You already made one publisher go bankrupt. Why not do another?
I'm just going to start shooting them in there with, like, a shotgun. Like, every other letter will have umlauts and diacritics.
Yeah. Now, I know that you said, you know, you may or may not have a future in erotica.
Okay.
But
that is an accurate statement.
But I wanted to pitch you a book idea that I had for you really quick.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking that you could write a sex-positive BDSM novel about a guy who is a sub and his dom partner. So it's like chains and whips and all that stuff.
Okay.
And the main character has a bondage kink. So he's always getting tied up, put in handcuffs, that sort of thing. But then one day he gets tired of being a sub and decides to be the dom instead, right?
Okay.
I was thinking that this character could be a self-insert named Django and that you could call the book Django Unchained.
See, the problem is we get sued.
No, you wouldn't. Why? It's totally different.
Because it's just Twilight over again.